Good morning, or I guess maybe it's not, it could be morning if you're watching this in the morning for you. It's morning for me right now. And so, over the last several days, if you've been watching my videos about like what to do toward the end of the school year, we've been talking about like helping kids get ready for summer and being readers and writers and keeping that level of volume as a reader and writer high all summer long so that we can try to combat like that summer slide. And some of the things that you've seen is I've talked about the habits of a reader, habits of a writer, changing the culture like in your building and modeling leading readerly lives. We've talked about what we can do as a building to help prepare our students or keep them reading all summer long. And so today I really wanted to talk about rallying the community. Like I really truly believe that it takes a village. Like schools can't do all the things, even though we do and we try. But really, we need to let our community know that reading is important. And together, we can do some really great stuff and keep our kids reading all summer long. So let's spend just a couple of minutes talking about that. Let's go to the cam and get you guys all set up. So it was kind of fun at the Summer Slide Mastermind. It's really fun to get together and talk with people about being inspiring and what we hope for our students. So we're going to talk about some ways we can rally our community. I loved this idea that was shared by Stacy Taylor, and she is at Rockwood School District, and she lives in the Webster Groves area. And she said in Webster Groves, they do like swaps all the time where families swap unneeded items. And she's like, how much fun could it be if we like host neighborhood book swaps? And like, I found that so inspiring and encouraging and exciting. I can't tell you how many times that I would buy my sons like the latest series and then they would read it and then we just set it on a bookshelf and it just sat there and didn't necessarily get read again because they were moving on to the next something or series that was coming out. And so what a beautiful idea to keep just like keep those books in circulation and keep them being read. And it's really fun. I don't know if you guys where you live have like garage sales, but for some reason, my boys are older now, they're adults, but they would love to go to people's garage sales and buy their stuff. Like it was fun getting someone else's stuff. So they would take whatever money they had available and they would go to the garage sales if there was a neighborhood garage sale and they wanted to get someone else's stuff. And how much fun could it be to get somebody else's book and their book recommendation? Another thing I think that we could do that we haven't done is like really look at those like free little libraries. I'm not sure what they're technically called. I think everywhere they call them something a little bit different. But what I was thinking is we could create like maps of those free little libraries, and it could be kind of a scavenger hunt that's happening like in your community, in your school neighborhoods or area. And I think that you could have a lot of fun with that. Like um, bring in the scouts and ask them to just kind of like help you make more of those, or a community organization. Where I live, there's still the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, they still do like big projects. And so they could help build them and they could help fill them and keep them going. What I think would be really cool, and if somebody does this, please like let me know because I want to have access to it. I think of the game Pokemon Go. Do you remember you'd see people like walking around with their faces in their phones and they were like trying to find where the Pokemon was? I don't even know anything about Pokemon, but like how much fun would it be to have like all these little like free libraries. And when you get to that library, kind of like Pokemon Go, when you get there, like you get points. And when you check out a book out of the free library, you get points. And when you put a book in that little free library, you get more points. So when I think about like trying to gamify things for our kids, I think, wow, that would be a super cool thing. So if you're really good at making apps and could find a way to design that, like please let me know because I totally would want that app. Another thing I think we really need to think about when it comes to getting our community rallied is getting all students access to the public library. So I'll tell you that like whether it's the public library comes to school and all kids get library cards, making sure every single student has access to their community public library. Something that I've seen done is where schools or districts partner with the library, the public library, and students' school IDs are the same, would be what their public library ID would be. So they don't have to go sign up. They automatically have a card because they're a member of the school and they already know their school number, so they can use that there at the public library. And I'm like, what a brilliant idea. I think making sure students have like and families have the calendar of events that happen at the library is really nice, and it helps just kind of create a hub around your public library. Something we did in the building that I worked at, one of the buildings I worked at many years ago, was in the summer, we would have teachers periodically be like at the library. They would sign up for slots. Like, I'm going to be at this public library because where I live, we have lots for our county. So there's probably 20, 25 public libraries where kids can access, but it's a large school district. Um, and so we would sign up for slots at different times at different public libraries, and we would have like little coupons, and there would be like "Gotcha" at the public library coupons. And so we didn't go out searching for students. They had to come find us, but we would just be camped out in the space. And if somebody would come up and ask us, they would get a gotcha at the public library. And so that allowed them like something when they came back to school, whether it was like their name was in a drawing or they got a free book or something, all of those gotchas could be turned in for a something. And so I think that could be really fun to help get kids into our libraries. And this is one of my favorite things is how some libraries have like bookmobiles, like books on wheels, and they go out into the community. So when I think about ways that we could do this, we could get those books on wheels, whether it be the public library. I was talking to some teachers the other day in Iowa, and they were talking about how someone in their community had retired and bought like an old grain truck that was no longer being used on the farm. And they turned that into like a book on wheels. And the community all gave donated books and money to buy books. And this gal drives around in her book on wheels little thing. And she goes to like the parks, the community centers, the boys and girls clubs, all the neighborhoods, anywhere she knows, like public pools where kids are hanging out and they can take books. So sometimes they return them and sometimes they don't. But her whole goal is to make sure that kids have access to books. So these are really just a few ways you can start rallying your community. And I would love to hear from you about some other ways that you're going to give this a shot, because I think that collectively we can make this even better. Have a great day.